Why do some people get rich while you're still struggling with money? Hi, I'm Thea, and after studying the patterns of self-made millionaires, I can tell you that the rich really are different from everyone else. It's not because they're smarter, it's not because they have secret knowledge, it's because they learned to think differently about time, risk, and value, and that changes everything. Here's exactly how their minds work. You know what rich people do when everything goes wrong? They get angry like everyone else, but for 5 minutes. Then they ask one question: how do I win from here? Why me? Not this isn't fair. Just how do I win from here? Try this right now with something that went wrong recently. Instead of staying angry, ask, how do I win from here? Lost your job? How do I win from here? Maybe it's the push you needed to start that business. Failed at something? How do I win from here? Maybe you just learned what doesn't work. That's it. One question that changes everything. You don't have to stay angry either. So why does this one question work when nothing else does? Because rich people don't mind if their first attempt fails. You heard that right. They don't mind. That goes wrong. You try to avoid failure at all costs. They try to fail fast and cheap. Because rich people know something you don't. Failure teaches you what success never will. When your business succeeds immediately, you have no idea why it worked. When your business fails, you know exactly what doesn't work. That's why most lottery winners go broke. They got success without the education. Wealthy people collect failures like you collect compliments. How do I win from here isn't damage control, it's data collection. Every setback is expensive education they got for free. Every failure is a masterclass in what actually works. That's why wealthy people seem fearless. They're not afraid of failure. They're afraid of succeeding without understanding why. And this fearless approach shows up everywhere, especially in how they handle money. You know what rich people do that seems crazy? They deliberately waste money on expensive things. Or at least it seems that way to us. You spend 3 hours driving to different stores to save $50 on a chair. Wealthy people buy it online in 5 minutes and then use those 3 hours to make a business call worth hundreds. You think they're being wasteful, but they have a different relationship with money. What's fascinating about this difference, every hour you spend saving $50 is an hour you're not doing something more valuable. You're not saving money. You're actively choosing to stay poor. Wealthy people know a secret. Money regenerates. Time doesn't. You can always make more money. You can never make more time. So they throw money at problems to buy back hours. Then they use these hours to create more money. While you're busy being responsible, they're busy getting rich. Here's what's devastating. Every time you choose to save $50 instead of saving 3 hours, you're training your brain that your time is invaluable. Wealthy people train their brain the opposite way. They act like their time is worth $1,000 or $10,000 an hour, depending on who they are. And eventually it is. So try this tomorrow. Next time you catch yourself about to spend an hour to save $50, pay that $50, then use that time to do something that could make you money or get you ahead in life. Watch how different it feels. So I'm adding all these mindset shifts into the description below if you want to reference them later. So an amazing thing about wealthy people is they see money everywhere. Isn't that wonderful? Imagine your friend just got the promotion you wanted. What's your first thought? If you're like most people, it's probably, that should have been me. But what if that reaction is exactly what's keeping you from succeeding? Here's what happens when you hear about someone else's success. You think there's one less opportunity for me. They think, perfect, now I know exactly what's possible. Same situation, a completely different response. You see a closed door, they see a blueprint. When someone in your industry starts making $100K a month, Your first reaction is probably, oh no, now the market's saturated. A wealthy person's reaction, interesting. So there's at least $100K a month flowing through this space. How do I get my share? What do I learn from this? Your scarcity thinking is actually a signal to rich people that you're not worth investing in. They can sense it immediately. Picture yourself in a business meeting with someone successful and wealthy. You're thinking about what you can get from them. They're thinking about what value you could create together. Guess who gets the opportunities? The truth is harsh. Every time you see someone else's success as your failure, you're training yourself to stay poor. Wealthy people don't celebrate others because it's nice. They do it because it's profitable. When you make other people feel abundant, they want to include you in their abundance. But wealthy people just don't think differently about abundance. They think completely backwards about what's actually dangerous. So try this tomorrow. Say the thing you've been afraid to say in your next meeting or in your next conversation. Ask for what you want. Share your idea. Share your thoughts. Speak up when you disagree. This probably terrifies you. But here's why that terrifying move is actually the safest thing you can do. While you've been staying quiet to protect yourself, you've been making yourself invisible. And invisible people don't get promoted. They don't get ahead. They don't get opportunities. And they don't build wealth. What you call safe, they call career suicide. Not asking for the raise feels safe, but you're guaranteeing you won't get it. Not starting that project feels safe, but someone else will start it and win. Every time you choose silence over speaking up, you're choosing invisibility over influence. Wealthy people learn this early. The biggest risk isn't embarrassment. The biggest risk is being forgettable. So tomorrow, when that moment comes, and you'll know it when you feel it, choose the thing that scares you. Because the thing that scares you is usually the thing that will change everything. Wait until you see how they handle decisions. So here's your next challenge. Make any decision in the next 24 hours that you've been putting off for weeks. I don't care what it is. The investment you keep researching, the networking event, the side hustle you keep planning. Just decide. Because while you've been researching and thinking and going over and over the perfect choice, other people have already made 3 imperfect choices and learned from all of this. You spend 3 months researching the perfect business opportunity. By the time you decide, things in the market have changed and you missed your chance. You analyze investment platforms for hours looking for the perfect investment. Meanwhile, someone else picked one and has been earning returns for months. Wealthy people do something that seems crazy. They deliberately make decisions they know might be wrong because correcting course is faster than perfect planning. Every hour you spend researching is an hour someone else spends doing. Set a 24-hour decision rule starting tomorrow. Any choice under $500 or any opportunity, maximum 24 hours to decide. But stop researching. Stop overthinking. Stop asking 10 people for advice. Stop making pro and con lists. Decide and move. Because indecision is a decision. It's choosing to stay exactly where you are. The people who get ahead make choices and then make them work. But here's what's really holding you back. Most people sabotage their own wealth without realizing it. Not because they don't believe they deserve money. It's because they're terrified of what having it might cost them. You worry that making more money will change you into someone you don't like. You're afraid your friends will think you've become greedy, pretentious, selfish. You're scared that wanting more makes you ungrateful for what you have. So you unconsciously create a glass ceiling. You stop yourself just before the breakthrough. You find reasons to quit right before success. You sabotage opportunities that could actually change your life. Wealthy people figured out something crucial. Money doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you are already. If you're responsible now, you'll be more responsible with money. If you're kind now, you'll be kinder with resources. If you're smart now, you'll be smarter with opportunities. The fear that money will corrupt you is what keeps us from having it. But watch this twist. The people who worry about money changing them, they are exactly the people who should have it, because they care enough to worry. Stop protecting yourself from becoming someone you're not going to become. Start building the wealth that will let you become more of who you already are. Your biggest obstacle isn't the economy, or your background, or your circumstances. It's the story you tell yourself about what you're allowed to want. Change that story, and you change everything. Wealthy people don't have access to secret information. What they do is think thoughts you've been taught not to think. Thoughts like, I deserve good things, I'm worth investing in, I can have what I want. Simple thoughts that feel dangerous to many of us because we've been conditioned to believe wanting more makes you selfish. The wealthy thinks there's nothing wrong with wanting more. No apologies for their ambitions, no making themselves small so other people feel comfortable. The lesson that the world changes when people aren't afraid to want more. The difference between how you think and how they think isn't complicated. Wealthy people were never taught that wanting wealth was something to be ashamed of. You were. Everything else follows from there. I know that's a lot of psychology to shift at once. So I've created a simple summary of all these wealth mindset that's in the description box below. Screenshot it, keep it handy, study it when you need it. And if this changed how you think about money, I'd love to know more in the comments. And if you want to learn how to master your emotions, click on the video in the top right-hand corner. Thanks for watching.